Hey, welcome back to the show. My name is Emmanuel, and if you struggle with porn or if you know someone who struggles with porn, you are in the right place. And right now we're going over the 7 steps to find freedom from porn. So if you haven't watched the previous episodes, make sure that you go back, you watch those, and so that you understand the process of how to actually gain freedom from porn. Now, before we jump in, if you need any help one-on-one wise, resources, anything like that, go to teamvulnerable.com. You'll find that in the description. And make sure that you like, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff, so that way we can get this message out to more and more people. So what we're going to go over right now is the next step, which is understanding addiction. I had always been told you're either an addict or you're not an addict. Hey, Emmanuel, you have an addictive personality. Well, no one ever told me, why do I have an addictive personality? And when you understand it, it's so much easier to break these cycles. And like I said, if you want to be an addict your whole life, you can be. But if you actually follow these steps, you're not going to be addicted to anything because, like I said, we could poke out your eyeballs. You're just going to become addicted to another thing. We need to find out why we're addicted, handle it, and when we understand the science behind it, it becomes so much easier. So there's 2 parts of this. There's a habit that is formed over time. You've gone back to porn, back again, back again, back again, back again, back again. Okay? And then there's a second part. There's a deeper pain, there's trauma that started this problem. So if we handle the habit, it's going to be really hard to actually overcome this thing because there's still going to be this deeper force that's drawing you towards this thing. So we need to actually handle both of these things. It's not just one or the other. Now, what happens when you watch porn and you get addicted to it? You get addicted to it because you have this pain and it feels good. It's this temporary pain reliever. By the way, sometimes people will be like, I can't say that I like porn or that it's fun or that it's... No, it produces lots and lots and lots of dopamine in your mind. That's why you get addicted to it. It's like a drug. Drugs are bad because they are fun and they are terrible for your body, though. That's why we don't do them. They're terrible for your mind, your spirit, your everything. It's the same idea here. Something can be bad and be fun, right? Someone who commits heinous crimes against children can be having fun as they're doing those things, right? Sometimes people say, hey, the goal in life is, hey, just have fun. Just have fun. That's not the goal in life. The goal in life is to love your neighbor as thyself and to love your Lord with all your heart, mind, and soul. That should be the goal of your life. And you don't believe in God, well, what do you believe in at that point? You need to start asking yourself the real questions. Why are you here on this blue marble? Start asking yourself some real questions. But for as followers of Christ, we already know what we're supposed to be doing. The Lord lays it out for us very, very clearly. So where was I going with all that? Let me backtrack. What happens when we start watching porn is it feels good. And so we start going back to it. And as we're going to it, that stimulus at first, when we first look up an image, it's like, whoa. And then you look up, it's the same image. You get bored. So you need more. So you go to more images, more videos, more extreme videos. And before you know it, you're watching unspeakable acts. Okay. We all understand this. And I always ask people, are you watching more crazy stuff now or when you first started? And the answer to that question is very, very simple. One of the most common things that people will say who watch porn is, I don't even like what I watch, but for some reason I want it. And the reason for that is when you're watching porn, you're in a very excited state. And sometimes you're going to see something that scares you. And now those neurons of excited and scared, those neurons that fire together now wire together. So when you're seeing gay porn or you're seeing women get beat up or if you're seeing whatever that thing may be, you're saying, wow, I for some reason, I want this thing. I want this thing. And you may be saying, I'm not actually into this, but I'm being drawn towards this thing. And that's because your mind has been hijacked. And I'm telling you, the amount of people that I've been talking to where they go, hey, I'm really into gay porn. Hey, I'm really into trans porn. Hey, I'm really into whatever. Guys, it's so much more common than you think for people to fall down these rabbit holes. And by the way, nobody ever believes I'm going to be the one who falls down the rabbit hole and, is going to be holding a ticket to Thailand to have sex with a child. Guys, everybody says that when they first start, but then they start going, well, I'll stop when it gets really bad. Well, that's not that bad. Well, that's not that bad. Well, you know what? I deserve it. Well, you know what? Who cares? There's no God anyways. Well, and all of a sudden, like I said, you have a ticket to Thailand in your hand. So some of the things I want you to understand when I say all that stuff is, it is not your fault that you've gotten to where you are. It's understandable, but it is your responsibility to get out of it. And that's what you're doing right here. You're taking those steps. I want to go over something. Shame versus guilt. Let me explain the difference. Shame is I'm a bad person and I do bad things. There's no changing that, right? It's just who I am. Guilt is I'm a good person who did something that I was not supposed to do. Guilt is actually good. When you have that feeling in your stomach, oh, I shouldn't be doing this, I shouldn't be doing that. That's actually a good thing. That's a warning sign. If you had none of those feelings, that's actually a bad thing. You've had those feelings, and that's why you are here. And your actions are showing that you're actually the hero of the story. Because, guys, everybody falls down in life. The difference between the hero and the villain is the villain stays down there in the mud and the dirt, and he just makes it its new home. But the hero falls down, and the hero gets back up, fights. If you think about Rocky in that first movie, he's just getting back up, getting back up, getting back up. And it's like, and he continues to fight, and he continues to move forward, and he eventually wins and becomes the world champion, right? It's the same idea here. We all fall down, but it's, do we get up or do we stay down? So with that in mind, I'm going to go over this. How do we win this battle with our mind on the logical side of things? This process is actually easier and more fun than you would expect. So there's really two parts of it. The first thing is this. Your brain did not get screwed up overnight, so do not expect to fix it overnight. See, one of the biggest issues and problems that people do is they say, you know what, I'm just going to stop watching porn and I'm never going to have a bad thought and I'm just going to be perfect now. That ain't going to happen. Okay, let me be real with you. After you watch this episode, it's not going to be like, oh, all my problems are solved. That's not it. But you don't need to feel bad about, oh, I'm not perfect after this, because that's what people do. It's like, you know, AA or these types of groups. It's like, I'm perfect and I'm holding on to this chip. And if I don't have, guys, you're human. You're going to make mistakes. I'm not saying go watch porn. I'm not saying that it's good. I'm not saying any of that. That's not what I'm saying whatsoever. I'm saying what your mind needs to be focused on is I need to take one step in the right direction each day, at least one step. If you can just focus on that, that will change everything. Because here's why. When you say to your brain, I want to make a humongous change, I want to never watch porn again, your brain says, oh my gosh, that's a terrible idea. You never want to watch porn again? That sounds really painful, because that's what we go to when there's a lot of pain. So now we're not going to have anything to relieve the pain. Oh my gosh, you know, you should go watch porn. And then you're actually going to be triggered to want to go watch porn, right? So instead, what you need to say to your brain is, hey, you know what? We can watch porn tomorrow. I just want to make this one change today. I just want to listen to this podcast series. That's all. Your brain's going to be like, yeah, that's cool. That's not that big of a change. But your brain is slowly being rewired when you do that. You learn more information. You start implementing things. And you just do that day after day after day after day. And your brain starts to, you know, if you've got those cords that are all wired, it's like it starts to rewire itself. The plugs go into the right place. It's not just every time you have a problem, go to porn, go to porn, go to porn. It's, no, there's actually other things I can do. I can handle the pain. It doesn't have to go this way. And so when you realize it's just a process of taking one step at a time, it becomes so much easier, okay? Take a deep breath. I am not saying never have a bad thought again and all this stuff. I'm saying just focus on taking one step in the right direction each day. Now, one of the biggest reasons why people struggle with this whole shift of, I want to quit watching porn, but I'm not going to take action and all this stuff, is they think that life is not going to be fun anymore. And first off, life becomes fun when you stop watching porn. See, porn creates this thing in your mind where it's like you can only have fun when you're watching the most crazy, extreme, awful things. When you stop watching porn, when you handle the pain inside, life becomes so much fun. I always share the story. I have a tree in the backyard. I walked outside one day and I was like, Becca, look at that tree. That's like the most beautiful tree right there. Did that just get like put in or something? What's it? She goes, Manny, that tree's been here for 5 years. 5 years. But guess what? It was the first time I saw that tree, because now the world, instead of being gray and all, it was beautiful and I could see the colors. Like literally, I could see the colors. It's a beautiful yellow tree in our backyard. But why this process and this mindset shift is so incredibly important is when you just focus on getting a little bit better. It's like when you play one of those games like, I don't know if you've ever played a game like Hotel Tycoon, or you're upgrading your team on like a sports game or something like that. But let's use the hotel analogy. When you're playing one of those games, you upgrade your lobby a little bit. It's like, yeah, you get a little dopamine hit. It's like, yeah, then you upgrade the pool a little bit. Yeah, then you upgrade the rooms. Yeah. And you're feeling good along the way. You're not only feeling good when you have like the most crazy hotel at the end of the game. You're feeling good each step along the way because you're getting these little dopamine hits. You're not focused on, my hotel is a piece of crap. You're focused on, my hotel's getting a little better. It's getting a little better. It's getting a little better. And it's the same idea here when you're overcoming porn use. When you just focus on getting a little bit better, you feel really good. Hey, I took that step in the right direction. Way to go. Yeah. Then you want to do it again. Then you want to do it again. Then you want to do it. Then all of a sudden, the part of the process, like I shared with you, like 40 days into the process, I was like, This is not hard anymore. This is really easy to not look at porn, right? It was like a struggle. It's kind of hard. Okay, this is easy. This is really easy because I just focused on taking one step in the right direction. So that's the biggest things I want to get across to you right here. When you understand these concepts, it will be an absolute game changer for you. Now, this next step is really, really powerful. This one is for when you talk about long-term success. Now we're going into that step right here. This one is incredibly powerful. It's dismantling the porn fantasy. And I know for me, this is one of the biggest ones I struggled with. This is a really, really, really helpful one to have long-term freedom right here. So before we get into that, make sure that you like, subscribe, follow, share, comment, all that stuff. It can go out and it can change lives just by pressing a button. So go out and go do that. And if you need any help, any resources, any one-on-one help, anything like that, go to teamvulnerable.com. But what we're going to dive into next is dismantling the porn fantasy, and I can't wait to get into that topic with you. I'll see you there.